Welcome to the Crime for Sleep channel. Let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Story 1: The Enigmatic Doll. In the dimly lit attic of their newly acquired Victorian house, Sarah and Michael stumbled upon a hidden treasure, a porcelain doll, its delicate features weathered by time, its blue eyes frozen in a perpetual gaze. Curled beneath a tattered blanket, the doll seemed out of place, a relic of forgotten memories. They chuckled at the oddity, dismissing it as just another dusty artifact of the past. As night descended and the house settled into hushed whispers, an inexplicable heaviness lingered in the air. The silence grew thick, wrapping around the young couple like a shroud of mystery. And when dawn broke, the doll was no longer confined to the attic shadows. It sat serenely at the foot of Sarah and Michael's bed, a silent sentinel in the early light. Sarah and Michael, lured by the allure of the house's intricate woodwork and enigmatic charm, had unwittingly stepped into a narrative woven with threads of the unknown. The whispers of a troubled past danced through the corridors, mingling with the echoes of forgotten secrets. Detective Rachel Winters, a beacon of logic in a world shrouded in uncertainty, was summoned on a crisp autumn morning to unravel a chilling enigma. In the master bedroom, a tableau of horror awaited her, the female victim, her form contorted in an unnatural pose, her eyes wide with terror; the male victim, frozen in a futile attempt to flee from an unseen threat. The crime scene, pristine and unsettling, offered no easy answers. Detective Winters, her voice a soft murmur against the backdrop of eerie silence, noted the deliberate arrangement of the victims, akin to dolls plucked from a macabre collection. Each detail whispered of a malevolent presence lingering just beyond reach. With each interview, the tapestry of dread unfurled, revealing tales of shadows dancing in empty rooms and phantom laughter haunting the stillness of the night. The forensic team's discoveries only deepened the mystery. Traces of antique fabrics, spectral imprints leading from the attic to the scene of the crime, and a chilling absence of tangible evidence left the investigators grasping at elusive truths. Delving into the house's dark history, Detective Winters unearthed a pattern of tragedy spanning decades. Previous owners had met untimely fates under inexplicable circumstances, their lives intertwined with whispers of unseen hands guiding their destinies. A thread of connection emerged. Each victim had dared to alter the sacred space of the attic, inviting the unknown into their lives. In a hidden alcove, forgotten memories captured in black and white whispered of a doll maker whose creations transcended the boundaries of life and death. His final creation, a doll whispered to harbor a soul bound by ancient rituals, mirrored the porcelain figure that had found its way into Sarah and Michael's possession. As the investigation spiraled into the realm of the supernatural, a distant relative of the doll maker imparted cryptic truths of forbidden arts and spirits entwined with mortal creations. The line between reality and nightmare blurred, leaving Detective Winters grasping at shadows that slipped through her fingers like smoke. The mystery, a tapestry of enigmas woven with threads of the unexplained, defied logical resolution. The doll, a specter of forgotten sorrows and whispered secrets, slipped through the grasp of law and reason, eluding capture like a wisp of fog in the night. And so the house changed hands once more, its legacy of whispered tragedies and spectral echoes a cautionary tale for those who dared to tread within its walls. The attic, a sanctuary of secrets buried beneath layers of dust, remained untouched by the new owners, a silent witness to the mysteries that lay dormant within its confines. As the years passed, the doll faded into the realm of myth and legend, a phantom haunting the collective memory of those who bore witness to its chilling presence. Detective Winters, her gaze haunted by unanswered questions, took her leave from the world of shadows and whispers, carrying with her a photograph sealed in an envelope marked "Never Open." And on quiet nights when the world slumbered and the veil between realms grew thin, whispers of a child's laughter would drift on the wind, a reminder of a tale best left undisturbed in the realm of dreams and shadows. Story 2, deep within the hidden corners of the city, there stood a quaint coffee shop that held secrets beyond the understanding of mere mortals. For years, a mysterious figure frequented this establishment, his presence as consistent as the rising sun. The man, known only as John Doe, followed a rigid routine, taking solace in the familiarity of the same table, the same order, and the same silent contemplation. The barista recognized his face, etched with the weight of unseen burdens, yet his name remained a mystery whispered only by the wind. Then one fateful day, the man failed to grace the coffee shop with his enigmatic presence. Concerned, the police delved into his absence, only to uncover a wallet abandoned at his customary seat. Within the wallet lay a driver's license bearing a photo of the man, but devoid of any identifying information, a hollow void where his identity should have resided. Detective Sarah Mercer, a seeker of truths hidden in shadows, found herself entwined in the enigma of John Doe. As she pored over the perplexing security footage, a chilling realization unfurled before her eyes. The footage depicted John's ordinary entrance, his usual order of black coffee untouched by sweetness, and his retreat to the secluded corner table adorned with a verdant plant. But then, in a moment that defied the laws of reality, he vanished into the ether, leaving behind a haunting absence. The detective, compelled by the tendrils of curiosity, delved deeper into the mystery that shrouded John Doe. The wallet, a vessel of secrets, revealed no substantive information, only cryptic symbols of an existence veiled in obscurity. The haunting emptiness of the driver's license, the inscrutable credit cards, and the enigmatic business card with a silent phone number painted a portrait of a man lost in the labyrinth of his own creation. As Mercer traversed the labyrinthine paths of investigation, she unearthed a notebook filled with inscrutable codes and sketches of ethereal structures that defied the laws of architecture. Each page whispered of a reality beyond comprehension, a realm where the tangible blended with the intangible in a dance of cosmic significance. The coffee shop, a nexus of converging realities, bore witness to John Doe's ephemeral existence. Mercer, attuned to the subtle whispers of the universe, noticed a peculiar anomaly in the security footage, a flickering time stamp that hinted at unseen forces at play. Guided by an insatiable curiosity, she confronted the antique mirror that hung between realms, its ornate symbols mirroring those etched in John's mysterious notebook. With the mirror as her guide, Mercer unearthed a hidden chamber behind its reflective surface, a sanctuary of forgotten wallets, each a vessel of lost identities suspended in time. The enigmatic journal, a testament to a lifetime of clandestine experiments, spoke of temporal transcendence and the blurred boundaries between worlds. As the investigation spiraled into the unknown, whispers of spectral sightings and eerie reflections haunted the coffee shop's patrons. The veil between realities wavered, revealing glimpses of a man trapped between worlds, his existence a tapestry woven with threads of impossibility. A chance encounter with an elderly physicist unveiled the truth behind John Doe's enigma, a brilliant mind lost in the corridors of parallel dimensions, his essence fragmented across the fabric of reality. Daniel Weston, once a beacon of scientific innovation, had delved too deep into the mysteries of quantum mirrors, becoming a spectral echo of his former self. In a climactic revelation, Mercer beheld the fractured reflection of Daniel Weston gazing back at himself through the shattered mirror, a poignant reminder of a soul torn asunder by the relentless pursuit of the unknown. As the final note echoed through the void, Mercer stood at the precipice of understanding, her world forever altered by the enigma of the man who didn't exist. The tale of John Doe, a phantom lost in the labyrinth of existence, remains an unsolved enigma, a haunting melody that lingers in the quiet corners of forgotten memories. The coffee shop, a relic of bygone mysteries, succumbed to the inexorable march of time, its secrets buried beneath the rubble of forgotten dreams. And Detective Mercer, a seeker of truths in a world veiled in shadows, found solace in the echoes of a past that whispered of worlds unseen. Her porch, a sanctuary of contemplation, bore witness to her silent vigil, a pen dancing across the pages of a notebook that mirrored the enigmatic musings of a lost soul. In the stillness of the night, a fragment of an antique mirror glimmered with spectral light, its surface rippling with echoes of a reality beyond comprehension. And as the world slumbered, the mysteries of the man who didn't exist lingered in the ether, a testament to the enigma of existence itself. Story 3. The aged envelope, its corners tinged with yellow, bore a fresh stamp as if it had just embarked on its journey. The detective, with a steady hand, unfolded it. Inside lay a solitary sheet of paper, its message hastily typed in an uneven script. "I am sorry for what I did." The paper exuded a faint dampness, carrying with it the unmistakable scent of iron. A peculiar reddish smear adorned the bottom edge, not of ink, but something more sinister. Detective Sarah Morgan delicately placed the letter into an evidence bag, her gloved hands maneuvering with practiced precision. The forensic team's findings confirmed her suspicions the reddish stain was indeed human blood, matching the DNA from an unsolved homicide that had plagued the department for years. The victim, a young journalist named Rebecca Warren, had been discovered in her apartment, bearing multiple stab wounds. Her laptop was missing, her notes strewn about, hinting that her demise might be linked to a story she was pursuing. Despite exhaustive interviews and countless hours of investigation, the case had gone cold until this letter arrived at the precinct, simply addressed to Homicide Division. The paper and envelope bore scant fingerprints, only smudges hinting that the sender had taken precautions. The postmark offered a glimmer of hope, a new light after months of stagnation. Morgan gathered her team in the briefing room, surrounded by walls adorned with crime scene snapshots, timelines, and suspect profiles that had led nowhere. Pinning the letter's image at the heart of their board, she declared, "This changes everything. Our culprit shows remorse." Detective James Chen, Morgan's longtime partner in this case, scrutinized the letter. "Or perhaps they want us to believe so," he proposed. "The blood could be a theatrical ploy, a means to mock us." The forensics team traced the typewriter's unique imprint patterns to a model long out of production. Uncommon, yet not unobtainable, they embarked on a quest, reaching out to antique vendors and collectors across the region. As the investigation gained momentum, they delved into Rebecca's life. Her editor painted a portrait of a determined journalist dedicated to unveiling corruption. Her recent assignment involved probing a prominent family entrenched in local politics. With the patriarch's recent passing, a contentious will emerged, igniting discord among siblings pointing fingers at each other. The detectives revisited Rebecca's boyfriend, Michael Barnes, Initially grief-stricken during their first encounter, he now appeared subtly altered with the emergence of the letter, nervous gestures, trembling hands. Rebecca spoke of being followed, he confessed, during the latest interrogation. I dismissed it as paranoia due to her investigation. I should have paid heed. While pursuing this lead, a second letter materialized, bearing the same typewritten words, the same blood-stained signature. This time the message unveiled more. She delved too deeply into the family secrets, the inheritance, the patriarch's demise. I never intended for it to unravel this way. The trail led them to the mansion of the deceased patriarch, where they scrutinized the eldest son, Richard. Among his collection of antiques lay several vintage typewriters. When questioned, his responses seemed rehearsed, overly polished. The breakthrough surfaced when the forensic team uncovered microscopic fibers on the envelopes matching custom stationery exclusive to the family's youngest daughter, Eleanor. Under interrogation, Eleanor disclosed that Richard had borrowed her stationery a month prior. A search of Richard's residence unearthed a concealed chamber housing newspaper clippings about Rebecca, surveillance imagery, and a vintage typewriter aligning with the one used for the letters. Blood analysis confirmed it to be Rebecca's. The unforeseen connection between Richard and Michael emerged through bank records showcasing substantial transactions preceding Rebecca's demise. Confronted, Michael crumbled. She uncovered evidence of Richard poisoning his father for a hastened inheritance. Michael confessed. I relayed her findings to Richard, intending to scare her off the story. I never envisioned he would resort to murder. The puzzle neared completion when Eleanor disclosed a covert recording capturing Richard and Michael plotting against Rebecca. Richard's voice rang clear. She must be silenced permanently. Richard's apprehension during a flight attempt sealed his fate. The prosecution wove a narrative around the letters, the typewriter, the financial exchanges, and Eleanor's recording. Michael struck a plea deal in exchange for testimony. Throughout the trial, Richard maintained his innocence, accusing Michael of acting solo and framing him. Yet the evidence spoke volumes. The jury swiftly returned a guilty verdict after a brief deliberation. As Richard was led away, shackled, Detective Morgan approached Rebecca's grieving parents in the courtroom. Though words couldn't resurrect their daughter, the conviction ushered a semblance of closure. The blood-stained letters lingered in evidence, a poignant reminder that even the most meticulously orchestrated crimes leave traces, and that regret, be it genuine or strategic, can unravel those who deem their deeds flawless. The saga of Rebecca Warren evolved into a pivotal case in detective lore, teaching fledgling investigators that breakthroughs may stem not from cutting-edge forensics, but from relics like an ancient typewriter and the burden of conscience weighing on a killer's soul. Story 4. It came in the mail, nestled within a nondescript envelope lacking any hint of origin. A solitary brass key, weathered by the passage of time. The homeowner, upon its touch, felt a peculiar sense of déjà vu, though unable to place its familiarity. Testing it in every lock she possessed, each remained unmoved by its touch. Clearly, it did not belong to her. However, as she gently set it upon the coffee table, a once silent grandfather clock in the hallway emitted a solitary, resonant chime despite its long-standing state of disrepair. Sarah Miller, disturbed by this inexplicable event, promptly notified the authorities about the mysterious key. What initially appeared as a mere anomaly swiftly unraveled into a chilling saga, plunging the tranquil suburban community into the depths of a haunting criminal inquiry. The attending officer initially brushed off Sarah's unease, attributing the key's arrival to a possible error. Yet, Sarah's intuition refused to be silenced. Reluctantly, the officer accepted the key as evidence, sealing it within a small evidence bag a seemingly inconsequential act that would soon become the epicenter of a sprawling investigation. As the morning sun cast its gentle glow, Detective Robert Harmon received the case dossier. A seasoned investigator of the Special Victims Unit, Harmon possessed a keen sense for cases that transcended their innocuous beginnings. The unassuming brass key sat upon his desk, its presence unassuming yet disquieting. Delving into Sarah's background yielded no signs of criminality. A retired high school English teacher, widowed, with grown children scattered across distant lands. No irregularities in her financial transactions, phone records, or online footprint. She appeared exactly as she professed, an unwitting recipient of an enigma. Forensic scrutiny unveiled solely Sarah's fingerprints on the key. The envelope divulged naught but a common postmark from a regional dispatch center. Devoid of DNA traces or tangible evidence, the key itself, a standard schlage, time-worn and of indeterminate age, offered no immediate answers. A breakthrough materialized when Detective Harmon decided to cross-reference the key's unique bidding pattern within the department database. 7 years prior, a cold case had documented an identical key pattern linked to a storage unit. Within its confines, investigators had uncovered blood-stained carpet, sharp implements, and images of unidentified women. Hindered by insufficient evidence, the original investigation had stagnated. Dusting off the aged case files, Harmon unearthed a trail leading to Harold Jenkins, a former neighbor of Sarah's who had vacated the area 6 years prior. A substitute teacher with an enigmatic past, Jenkins had left a scattered trail of employment records and frequent relocations in his wake. The hunt for Jenkins intensified as investigators traced a connection to Sarah through genealogical databases. Unveiling a concealed room beneath Jenkins' deceased mother's cabin led to a grim revelation, a trove of brass keys, each bearing a name and date. 5 keys aligned with the women in the photographs, while 27 others hinted at unseen horrors. The manhunt for Jenkins spanned the nation as the community reeled from the realization of a predator among them. A harrowing pursuit culminated in Jenkins' demise, unveiling a meticulously preserved chronicle of his atrocities. In a final missive addressed to Sarah, Jenkins elucidated his twisted motives, leaving a legacy of terror and heartache in his wake. As the sun set on this grim chapter, Sarah chose to depart her home, forever haunted by the malevolent shadow that had loomed perilously close to her existence. The grandfather clock, once a silent guardian, harbored a clandestine receiver, a chilling reminder of Jenkins' watchful eye. A tale of darkness concealed beneath the veneer of normalcy, this saga serves as a cautionary testament to the insidious depths of human depravity. Story 5. The town held its breath, never whispering of the house standing sentinel at the edge of the woods. It loomed solitary, windows veiled in darkness, porch burdened by the weight of time's passage. No one laid claim to its ownership, no memory lingered of the hands that shaped its weathered form. Yet when a band of wanderers strayed too near, their eyes fell upon a chilling sight, names etched into the wooden walls, carved deep as omens. And at the very bottom, fresh and untarnished, a name unknown to all but one. A hushed voice quivered, "That's mine." In the dead of night, a call pierced the silence, marked in dispatch logs as a routine trespassing incident. The voice belonged to Mason Wright, leader of the hikers who stumbled upon his own name etched into the forsaken dwelling. Responding officers anticipated mere mischief, youthful games gone awry, but what awaited them defied logic. Detective Sarah Keller arrived as dusk draped the forest in shadows. Her flashlight pierced the black, revealing the worn face of the house. 27 names adorn the eastern wall, some fading into obscurity, others sharp as if freshly carved. And at the base, Mason write, the cut still redolent of sawdust. "I've never set foot here before," Mason murmured, his breath a mist in the chilly air. "How could anyone know my name?" The investigation unfurled, unraveling the tapestry of each listed name. The findings sent shivers through the detective team. Every name linked to a soul vanished over the past 40 years, lost to these very woods. Some cases grown cold, others lingering in the shadows. But all shared a haunting commonality. The disappearances occurred while the individuals journeyed alone. Forensic experts cataloged each carving, noting the nuances of depth, technique, and age. The oldest name, Rebecca Hansen, tied to a vanishing dating back 37 years. Her tale, one of entering these very woods never to return, haunted the pages of case reports. Search efforts yielded naught but a lone boot by a trickling stream. Mason's interrogation revealed no ties to the area beyond this ill-fated expedition with college comrades. Their trail, chosen at random from an online suggestion, bore no connection to the other names haunting the desolate house. Suspicions turned to Mason's companions. Emily Chen, the group's photographer, unveiled snapshots from their trek. In each frame, an unsettling presence lingered, a blurred figure, tall and lean, lurking amidst the trees. "We saw no other soul on our journey," Emily swore. "We would have remembered." Detective Keller commanded a search within the house's confines. Dust cloaked every surface, furniture in disarray, yet in the basement lay a chilling tableau. Personal effects of the vanished hikers lined shelves meticulously, each item labeled with a name from the wall outside. UV light unveiled hidden bloodstains on the floor, an attempt to erase the past. Despite no bodies beneath the structure, cadaver dogs signaled to the forest's darkest depths, where the trees held their secrets close. As scrutiny heightened, Mason's demeanor warped. He reported phantom whispers, enigmatic footprints leading to his door, and spectral watchers haunting the streets. Officers stood sentinel at his side, yet paranoia gripped him tighter. A breakthrough came with buried county records. The house's previous owner, Victor Blackwood, a recluse of the woods, vanished 15 years prior without a trace. Detective Keller delved deeper, unearthing a web of hunting blinds along well-trodden paths. Inside, a journal chronicled horrors, observations of hikers, their routines, vulnerabilities. Blackwood's scrawl transformed the victims into prey, his twisted methods laid bare. The hunt for Blackwood spanned jurisdictions, helicopters scouring the forest with thermal eyes, tactical squads combing every crevice. Yet the phantom eluded justice. Mason's silence rang louder, his apartment deserted, a chilling inscription upon the wall: "The hunter becomes the hunted." Weeks passed with no sign of Mason. Then, in a hidden alcove within Blackwood's abode, a workshop emerged. Woodworking tools gleamed in the gloom, preservatives lined the shelves, a fresh carving awaiting its place on the wall. Detective Keller's breath hitched at the name etched upon it, the lead technician, absent from duty, unreachable by phone. A surveillance net enveloped the house, cameras vigilant, motion sensors poised. The trap was set. In the dead of night, sensors wailed. Cameras blinked, capturing a figure, tall and sinuous, strolling towards the house with an otherworldly grace. Tactical teams surged forward, but the figure dissolved into the shadows, leaving only whispers of dread in its wake. To this day, the house stands under watchful eyes. Mason and the technician remain lost to the wood's embrace. The investigation persists, resources allocated anew as vanishings echo in distant forests. The names on the wall weave a chilling legend among investigators. Some officers shun their mention, others flee the case entirely. Local hikers skirt the house's domain, fearing that to speak its name is to court a fate etched in wood, an unspoken terror of names forgotten. Story 6. In the quiet stillness of an abandoned house, a phone sat on the counter, its screen glowing faintly in the dim light. Detective Morgan Reed stood before it, the weight of an unsolved mystery heavy on her shoulders. The call had come just minutes ago, a call from a phone that shouldn't have been making calls at all. The voice on the other end had been haunting, a whisper filled with desperation and fear. He's here, and then silence. The number traced back to Catherine Sullivan, a woman who had died 3 years prior in a tragic car accident. Yet here was her phone, making a call from a house long forgotten. The investigation led Morgan down a path of confusion and disbelief. The evidence bag containing the phone held no answers, only more questions. How could a dead woman's phone be calling from an empty house? The dust on the counter told a story of its own, disturbed only where the phone had appeared. As Morgan and her partner, Detective Walsh, delved deeper, they uncovered a journal belonging to Catherine. Its pages revealed a chilling account of her relationship with a man named Mark, a relationship that had turned from love to control, ending in fear. Mark's alibi seemed airtight, but the truth lay buried beneath layers of deceit. A buried phone unearthed new evidence, texts that painted a grim picture of Catherine's final moments. The pieces of the puzzle started to fit together, revealing a sinister truth. Mark's manipulation knew no bounds. His twisted game of creating a ghost call from Catherine's voice was a sick attempt to rewrite history, to silence the accusations that lingered in the air. But Catherine's voice, though gone, echoed through the halls of the abandoned house, seeking justice. The trial brought closure, but not peace. Mark's conviction was a bittersweet victory, a reminder of the darkness that had touched so many lives. Catherine's story, though tragic, lived on as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in death, voices can still be heard. The phone in the evidence locker remained silent, its battery long removed, but the memory of Catherine's bravery rang loud and clear in the hearts of all who had heard her story. Story 7, she entered through the front door, dust dancing in the stagnant air. The house had sat abandoned for years, its walls shedding paint, its furniture veiled in white sheets. Every step felt like tiptoeing into a snapshot frozen in time except for one peculiar detail. The doors, each one she opened, led her back to the same room. No matter the path she took, no matter the knob she turned, she always found herself back in the parlor. The only escape seemed to be the way she had entered. Yet, when she turned around, the front door had vanished. The discovery of Morgan Pierce's lifeless body had shifted the abandoned Victorian from a mere curiosity to a grim crime scene. Detective Sarah Lynn stood at the threshold, observing forensic experts glide through the dimly lit rooms like specters. Among the locals, the house had gained a reputation, the place where compasses spun wildly, where whispers of being watched lingered in the air. Now it harbored secrets far more ominous than mere urban myths. The initial examination suggests she's been deceased for approximately 3 days, the medical examiner murmured, his words barely audible. The cause of death appears to be asphyxiation. Morgan had been discovered seated in an antique chair in the parlor, facing the entrance as if anticipating someone's arrival. Her countenance serene, hands clasped neatly in her lap. No signs of struggle, no marks of defense. The scene exuded a chilling stillness that even seasoned investigators found unnerving. Who reported the discovery of the body? Lind inquired, scanning her notes. A real estate agent showing the property to potential buyers, her partner replied. They entered, spotted her sitting there, mistook her for a trespasser until they drew closer. The house had remained uninhabited since the passing of its previous owner, Eleanor Blackwood, nearly 5 years prior. Legal disputes had left the property in a state of neglect, unwanted, unsold, and mostly forgotten, except by vandals and thrill seekers. Morgan Pierce, a 26-year-old graduate student delving into architectural anomalies for her thesis. Her friends described her as systematic, driven, and captivated by spaces that defied traditional design. The abandoned Victorian, with its reputation for disorienting visitors, must have beckoned to her curiosity. Her roommate reported her missing 2 days ago, Lind noted. Claimed Morgan had mentioned visiting the house where people get lost for her research. The investigation unveiled that Morgan had frequented the house multiple times in the weeks leading up to her demise. Her journal entries chronicled peculiar acoustics, unexpected cold patches, and doors that seemingly led to different rooms with each opening. In her final entry, she spoke of bringing specialized equipment to document what she referred to as spatial anomalies. However, this equipment was nowhere to be found. The autopsy yielded an unexpected revelation: traces of a rare alkaloid in Morgan's system, derived from a plant utilized in certain shamanic rituals. The substance was known to induce disorientation and vivid hallucinations, but not in quantities adequate to be fatal. She wasn't one to use recreational drugs, her boyfriend insisted during questioning. Morgan was meticulous in her research methods. She wouldn't have jeopardized her perception intentionally. Digital forensics recovered snippets of deleted messages from Morgan's phone. Conversations with an individual who shared her fascination with the house, someone who professed to comprehend its enigmas. The exchanges grew increasingly intimate and cryptic. The house retains the memories of what occurred within its walls, read one message. It longs for someone to understand. The trail led investigators to Adam Reeves, an architectural historian who had corresponded with Morgan. His expertise in rare spatial phenomena had captured her attention, and their professional bond had evolved into something deeper. When questioned, Reeves appeared genuinely shattered by her demise. The house carries a reputation, he elaborated. The original architect integrated optical illusions and false perspectives. He crafted it to bewilder and disorient. Morgan believed there was a deeper significance to it, something beyond mere design tricks. However, Reeves had a solid alibi for the estimated time of death. Surveillance footage placed him delivering a lecture at a university symposium several hours away. A breakthrough surfaced from an unexpected source: Eleanor Blackwood's grandson, now residing abroad. Upon being contacted by investigators, he unveiled a family secret concealed for generations. My grandmother wasn't the sole Blackwood to perish in that house, he disclosed. There were others. Always discovered in the parlor, always appearing peaceful. The family termed it the claiming. He provided investigators with journals spanning decades, detailing deaths initially attributed to heart failure or stroke. The pattern was glaring: individuals who spent extended periods in the house eventually succumbed to what the family euphemistically referred to as the influence. A secondary sweep of the property unveiled a concealed compartment behind the parlor's fireplace. Inside, investigators unearthed Morgan's missing equipment and something more. A small chamber housing artifacts from various indigenous cultures, arranged meticulously in a geometric formation. At the center rested a sculpted figurine, its features smoothed by generations of touch. Analysis identified the carving as representing a deity linked with liminal spaces, gateways between worlds. Residues on the artifacts matched the alkaloid discovered in Morgan's system. The case took a sinister turn when the examination of dust patterns within the house hinted at the presence of another individual at the time of Morgan's passing. Partial fingerprints, distinct from Morgan's or any known visitors, were extracted from doorknobs throughout the residence. 3 weeks into the inquiry, Adam Reeves was found lifeless in his apartment. Like Morgan, he was seated facing the entrance, an expression of tranquility upon his features, with the same alkaloid detected in his system. Clutched in his hand was a key that fit no lock within his residence, but slotted perfectly into the secret compartment in the Victorian. In his final email, sent to himself as if preserving a testament, Reeves inscribed, "The house doesn't ensnare you physically. It ensnares your perception." Morgan was correct, the doors lead where they always have, but something deceives you into believing you're moving in circles. Once you grasp the truth, you can depart at any moment, yet by then you no longer desire to. The case remains unresolved officially, catalogued as suspicious fatalities under examination. The Victorian has since been condemned, access barred by authorities. Nonetheless, whispers linger of lights flickering within on certain evenings, and of individuals who enter but never emerge. Some locals assert that the house seizes those who uncover its mysteries too profoundly. Others speculate that Morgan and Reeves unearthed something ancient and potent, existing within the realms between conventional reality. The truth persists as elusive as an exit in a house where every doorway leads back to the start. Story 8, she cleared the mist from the mirror, gazing at her reflection. Yet an unsettling feeling crept in. Her appearance was normal, her attire unchanged. Still, the longer she peered, the more a sense of unease settled within her. A flicker caught in the corner of her eye, a movement not of her own making. And when she turned away, her reflection remained motionless, observing. This was the beginning of Rebecca Thorne's mysterious tale, unfolding in the confines of her bathroom. The enigma that followed would baffle investigators and cast a shadow over the community for years to come. Rebecca resided alone in a modest flat nestled in a serene suburban enclave. Known for her meticulous nature, she was described as reserved, someone who kept to herself yet maintained polite relations with her neighbors. Her occupation as a data analyst in a mid-sized firm dictated a life of routine and exactitude. Nothing in her demeanor hinted at her eventual role in one of the most perplexing criminal inquiries of the era. The initial signs were subtle. Objects in Rebecca's home seemed subtly rearranged, no items missing, just shifted around. A mug placed on a different shelf, books shuffled, her toothbrush on the opposite side of the sink. She brushed off these peculiar occurrences as mere lapses in memory, attributing them to long hours spent under harsh fluorescent lights, analyzing spreadsheets until her vision blurred. It was only after enduring weeks of these disturbances that Rebecca finally contacted the authorities, leading to Detective Marion Shaw's involvement. Initially, the assessment leaned towards a mental health concern rather than a criminal matter. Shaw noted in her report no tangible evidence, no signs of forced entry or missing possessions, just a woman with a sense of foreboding in her own home. The pivotal moment arrived with the incident in the bathroom mirror. During her subsequent interaction with the police, Rebecca recounted in vivid detail how her reflection appeared to move independently, leaving her with a constant sensation of being watched, even in solitude. This time she had proof: a self-installed security camera aimed at her front door. The footage unveiled a chilling truth that sent shivers down the spines of even the most seasoned officers. The grainy video captured Rebecca leaving for work in the morning, followed by an identical figure entering her apartment 20 minutes later. Forensic scrutiny of the footage revealed no signs of tampering or digital manipulation. The intruder moved and dressed exactly like Rebecca, even carrying her distinctive leather bag. However, Rebecca's workplace security system showed her already present in her office across town at the same time. "We're facing a doppelganger scenario," Detective Shaw informed her superiors. "Someone who has meticulously studied Ms. Thorne and can replicate her with uncanny precision." The investigation deepened. Fingerprints found in the apartment matched only Rebecca's, with no foreign DNA detected. Neighbors reported nothing out of the ordinary, just Rebecca going about her daily routine. One neighbor, Mrs. Keller, mentioned a peculiar encounter with Rebecca where she received no response upon greeting her return home, an unusual occurrence that raised no immediate alarms. Rebecca commenced documenting the disturbances in a journal. Minor alterations in her living space escalated. Unexplained food disappearance from the fridge, unfamiliar searches on her computer, and unsettling photographs on her phone, selfies resembling her yet taken without her recollection. Some images portrayed a subtly off-kilter expression, a smile too wide or eyes too intense. "I feel like I'm losing my mind," she confessed to Detective Shaw during their third meeting. "Or someone is trying to convince me that I am." The breakthrough materialized when a pattern emerged in the security footage. The doppelganger only infiltrated during Rebecca's scheduled absences for specific commitments, therapy sessions, yoga classes, Sunday morning grocery runs, pre-planned activities with predictable durations. "Someone is intimately familiar with your routine," Shaw elucidated. "This isn't random, it's calculated surveillance and subterfuge." A forensic psychologist theorized a motive of fixation on becoming Rebecca, living her life, and potentially supplanting her entirely. Such cases, though rare, were documented in psychological studies. The perpetrator typically underwent a psychological rupture, fixating on a victim symbolizing traits they desired: stability, beauty, success, normalcy. The focus narrowed when Rebecca mentioned a former coworker, Lily Winters, who exhibited escalating erratic behavior before being terminated. Lily had closely collaborated with Rebecca, often remarking on their similarities. Following her dismissal, she sent Rebecca a series of unsettling emails, one stating, "We could be the same person. Sometimes I feel more like you than you do." A warrant to search Lily's residence uncovered a chilling revelation. One room resembled a shrine replicating Rebecca's bedroom, adorned with countless images of Rebecca's daily activities taken without her knowledge. A closet housed duplicates of Rebecca's wardrobe, alongside makeup brands identical to her preferences and detailed notes on her mannerisms, speech patterns, and daily routines. Most disturbing were the practice videos where Lily imitated Rebecca's gait, gestures, and expressions, progressing from clumsy mimicry to near-perfect replication. "She desired to be me," whispered Rebecca when confronted with the evidence. "She wasn't mimicking me, she was erasing me." Investigators unearthed advanced tools for key replication and electronic access card duplication in Lily's possession. She meticulously tracked Rebecca's movements, maintaining a detailed calendar predicting her schedule. Lily's end goal remained elusive. Journals recovered from her abode contained cryptic entries, oscillating between first and third person, occasionally referring to Rebecca as both me and her within the same passage. The final entry sent a chill down the investigators' spines. "Soon, only one of us shall remain. The stronger entity will prevail." When authorities moved to apprehend Lily, she had vanished, leaving behind signs of a hurried departure, drawers ajar, missing technology. A nationwide alert was issued, and Rebecca was relocated to a secure location under continuous surveillance. For 3 weeks, every place associated with her former life was monitored, yet Lily remained elusive. The climax arrived when a security guard at Rebecca's former workplace reported an anomaly. Despite being under protective custody, Rebecca was spotted entering the building. Surveillance footage confirmed an individual resembling Rebecca using a valid ID to access the premises, proceeding to her former workspace, scouring through files for 40 minutes before departing. The implication was stark. Lily hadn't fled. She had made her move, assuming Rebecca's identity as the genuine Rebecca remained concealed. The case lingered unresolved. Lily Winters eluded capture, and Rebecca Thorne chose to forge a new identity in an undisclosed location, avoiding a return to her past life. Detective Shaw's desk held a photograph of 2 strikingly similar women, Rebecca Thorne and Lily Winters. She often scrutinized their features, searching for nuances that set them apart. The true horror Shaw imparted to new recruits is not in resembling someone or sounding like them. It's in desiring to become that person so ardently that you erase your own existence in the process. Our identity isn't merely what we present to the world, it's what we safeguard most fiercely. And sometimes we only realize its worth when someone attempts to steal it. Story 9: The Mystery of the Haunted House. The ancient box lay hidden beneath layers of dusty relics in the attic, a forgotten treasure chest of memories left behind by the house's former inhabitants. Within its weathered confines resided a collection of faded Polaroids, capturing moments of joy and celebration from years gone by. Birthdays, family gatherings, scenes of innocence and normalcy painted in soft hues. But as she delved deeper into the stack, her fingers brushing against the frayed edges of the photographs, she stumbled upon a picture that shattered the tranquility of the past. In the final snapshot, a scene unfolded that sent shivers down her spine. It depicted her own living room, the familiar couch, the drapes she had always meant to replace. Yet the family in the image was not hers. And there, lurking in the murky shadows of the hallway, a figure stood watch a man whose presence sent a chill through the very core of her being. Rebecca's hands trembled as she scrutinized the photograph, the Polaroid quivering slightly under her touch. The family in the picture, a woman with sun-kissed hair, a bespectacled man, and 2 children, gazed back at her with frozen smiles, oblivious to the ominous figure looming behind them. Their joy frozen in time, juxtaposed with the unseen danger that lingered in the background. Descending the creaking stairs, Rebecca carried the unsettling image to her kitchen, the weight of the discovery settling heavily upon her. The house, always echoing with emptiness since she had moved in 4 months prior, now felt oppressively suffocating. Placing the photograph under the harsh glare of the fluorescent light, she couldn't deny the eerie resemblance: the archway leading to the hallway, the ornate molding, the bay window that bathed the room in morning light. This was undeniably her home, yet these strangers had intruded upon its history. A seasoned detective, clad in a worn leather jacket that whispered of past investigations, arrived to unravel the mysteries concealed within the photograph. Detective Morgan's keen eyes scanned the image with a practiced precision, his gloved finger tracing the edges of the Polaroid before flipping it over to reveal a blank back. "What do you know of the previous owners, the Nelsons?" His voice rumbled low, probing for answers. Rebecca shook her head, a sense of unease settling in her gut. "Very little. They had already relocated out of state when I bought the house." Nodding thoughtfully, Morgan requested to take the photograph for further analysis. His team, he assured her, might be able to shed light on the enigmatic family captured in the image. And so the investigation unfolded quietly, each piece of the puzzle unveiling a deeper layer of the house's haunting history. The Nelsons, it was discovered, had acquired the property from a family named Crawford, who in turn had succeeded the Mornos as residents. A trail of former occupants led back through time, each family vanishing abruptly after a year of residence, leaving behind no trace of their existence. A breakthrough emerged unexpectedly from the shadows of the past. A retired mail carrier identified the family in the photograph as the Sutherlands, who had occupied the house for a fleeting year before disappearing without a trace. Mail left unclaimed, neighbors left bewildered, a pattern of mysterious departures that defied explanation. Forensic analysis dated the Polaroid to 15 years prior, revealing subtle clues that hinted at a staged scene. A timer set up to capture a moment in time, yet failing to conceal the enigmatic figure that lurked in the hallway. Tall, cloaked in darkness, his gaze fixed upon the unsuspecting family with an intensity that sent ripples of dread through the room. As the investigation delved deeper, a chilling pattern emerged. Each family that had resided in the house before Rebecca had met a similar fate: disappearance, erasure from the annals of history. A dark legacy woven into the very fabric of the building's existence, stretching back through the decades. The house's origins whispered of a troubled past. Built by a renowned architect, the project had been marred by the sudden disappearance of the overseeing manager, a man named Samuel Whitfield. Faced with an enigma that defied reason, Detective Morgan sought to connect the dots between the present and the shadows of the past. The basement, a crypt of buried secrets, became the focal point of the investigation. Ground-penetrating radar revealed anomalies beneath the concrete, leading to a grim discovery that would unravel the tapestry of horror woven within the house's walls. Beneath layers of soil and concrete, the missing families were unearthed, preserved in a macabre tableau of eternal silence. Among their possessions, a camera surfaced, the very device that had captured the haunting Polaroid discovered in the attic. A chilling revelation that hinted at a malevolent force lurking within the confines of the house, orchestrating a sinister dance of shadows and secrets. As the investigation spiraled into darkness, a hidden crawlspace in the attic unveiled a chamber of horrors: a cot, a journal filled with clandestine observations, a chilling testament to a presence that lingered beyond the veil of mortality. The final entry, chilling in its implications, hinted at a malevolent force that stalked the shadows, biding its time until the next victim crossed its path. Rebecca, ensconced in a hotel under police protection, found no solace in the fleeting respite from the house's haunting grip. A nocturnal call shattered the fragile peace of her dreams, the sound of labored breathing mingling with the mechanical click of a Polaroid camera, a spectral echo of a presence that refused to be forgotten. The saga of the haunted house continued, its windows now veiled in darkness, its secrets buried within the crumbling walls. The enigma of Samuel Whitfield, a specter from the past, hovered on the edge of perception, a phantom whose true nature remained elusive. And so the tale lingers on, whispered in hushed tones among those who dare to seek the truth behind the man in the photograph. In the shadows of forgotten rooms, new families now tread unknowingly, their lives captured through the lens of a malevolent watcher. The legacy of the house endures, a haunting reminder that some mysteries are best left undisturbed, lest they awaken a darkness that hungers for souls lost in the labyrinth of time. Story 10: The Enigmatic Mask. The old costume shop was in its final days, its shelves stripped bare as it sold off remnants of the past. Among the forgotten treasures, a woman's hand reached for a mask that seemed to beckon her, its delicate features holding an eerie lifelike quality. Placing it on the counter, the cashier hesitated, his voice barely a whisper, "That's not ours." Perplexed, the woman checked for a tag, but none could be found. With a nonchalant shrug, she decided to take the mysterious mask home. That night, a soft rustle stirred her from slumber, the whisper of fabric shifting in the darkness. Her heart quickened as she noticed the mask was no longer resting on the dresser where she had left it. Instead, it sat ominously on her nightstand, its gaze fixed upon her. The woman, known as Catherine Reed, was discovered by her concerned neighbor the following morning. The front door stood ajar, allowing a beam of morning light to pierce the gloom of her home. Expecting to return a borrowed book, the neighbor stumbled upon a chilling scene that would confound investigators for years to come. Catherine lay lifeless on her bedroom floor, the mask mysteriously vanished. Detective Morgan arrived at the scene, her presence adding a solemn weight to the already somber atmosphere. As forensics meticulously documented the room, the rhythmic clicks of the shutter provided an eerie backdrop to the whispered conversations. "No forced entry," noted one officer in his meticulous note-taking. The detective's keen eyes scanned the room, absorbing every detail. A slightly ajar drawer, a lipstick-stained water glass on the nightstand, everything seemingly ordinary except for the woman who would never awaken. The medical examiner's examination yielded no immediate answers. Cause of death unclear upon initial inspection. No visible wounds, no signs of struggle, he reported solemnly, gesturing towards Catherine's frozen expression of terror. The detective bent closer, her voice barely above a whisper. Something terrified her to her very core. Catherine had lived a quiet life as an art appraiser, renowned for her discerning eye and passion for authenticity. Colleagues spoke of her keen ability to spot even the subtlest discrepancies. "She could detect a forgery from across the room," remarked her boss during questioning, hinting at her unparalleled attention to detail. The detective pondered whether this very talent had unwittingly led to her demise. A puzzling discovery emerged from the costume shop's security footage. The cashier's evident confusion over the mask raised eyebrows. Further investigation revealed that the mask was not part of the shop's inventory. The owner, visibly distressed, confessed to its sudden appearance during a clearance sale, hinting at a dark history tied to a deceased collector's estate. A breakthrough in the case came with the revelation of microscopic fibers found on Catherine's fingertips. She was grasping at something, the lab technician explained, noting the unusual composition of the fibers, a blend of human hair and an unidentified organic substance defying modern analysis. The investigation uncovered a string of similar deaths spanning decades, each victim acquiring a peculiar mask shortly before their demise. All were found with expressions frozen in terror, their cases remaining unsolved. A retired detective, a veteran of one such case, shared a startling revelation. Inside each mask, hidden behind the lining, ancient symbols hinted at a ritual involving soul transference. A journal clandestinely stashed in Catherine's apartment shed light on her final days. Her frantic entries detailed a growing sense of unease, a feeling of being watched within her own home. She delved into the mask's origins following the cashier's peculiar reaction, drawing connections to a series of enigmatic deaths. "The mask moves," she penned with escalating dread, describing markings inside that mirrored unsolved cases. The collector of these masks had met a similar fate, each mask claiming a life before seeking a new host. The evidence began to weave a chilling narrative: Catherine's research, the mysterious fibers, the shared fate of past victims. The cause of death was eventually attributed to cardiac arrest induced by extreme fear. What sinister force could evoke such terror that one's heart would simply cease to beat? The investigation took a macabre turn when surveillance footage captured a figure exiting Catherine's home, donning the missing mask. The unsettling sight of the figure moving with Catherine's gait, yet unnaturally mechanical, sent shivers down the detective's spine. An alert was issued for the elusive mask, but it vanished without a trace, only to resurface months later in a distant vintage shop, changing hands silently. The enigma of the mask remained unsolved, shrouded in a veil of mystery. The detective safeguarded Catherine's journal, a testament to a truth beyond official comprehension. In the stillness of the night, she would awaken abruptly, sensing an unseen presence looming. Securing her windows and doors, she pushed aside thoughts of the mask, knowing it awaited its next unwitting bearer, a vessel hungering for a soul, perpetuating an ancient cycle that transcended time. The mask lingered in the shadows, biding its time until it found another to ensnare, its empty gaze fixed on the essence within, poised to consume once more. Story 11. The tale began as a mere oddity to the new homeowners, the crackling of the old intercom system in the dead of night. A relic of the past, revamped but left to fade into obscurity. But one fateful evening, curiosity got the best of the husband. With a hesitant press of the button, a haunting whisper seeped through the speaker, sending shivers down his spine. "Why did you come back?" The words lingered in the air, unsettling and mysterious. His wife, standing close behind, denied ever uttering such a phrase. The Victorian manor stood proudly amidst ancient oak trees, its aged facade concealing a modernized interior. Daniel and Meredith Parker, drawn to history, had acquired the property at an unexpectedly affordable price, despite the unease of the real estate agent during the initial tour. The intercom system, a vintage charm connecting every room, had captivated the Parkers from the start. Detective Sarah Reeves arrived at the property, the gravel murmuring beneath the wheels of her unmarked car. The call had hinted at a possible break-in, but a subtle undercurrent in the dispatcher's voice hinted at a deeper mystery. Daniel Parker, a somber figure, welcomed her at the entrance, his pallor accentuated by the dim glow of the porch light. "It all began with the intercom," he murmured, leading Detective Reeves through the grand foyer. First, just static. Then whispers, and eventually full sentences. My wife thought I was imagining things until she heard it too. In the living room, Meredith sat stiffly on an antique sofa, her hands tightly gripping a steaming cup left untouched. "We uncovered something hidden behind the wall," she divulged without preamble. Daniel wanted to expand the pantry, and when he tore down the drywall, her voice faltered. Concealed in deteriorating plastic behind the wall was a small leather-bound journal. Detective Reeves' gloved hands, carefully flipping through the fragile pages, deciphered the elegant yet frantic script of Alina, the journal's previous owner. The entries chronicled Alina's mounting fear of her husband Vincent's sinister intentions. "The last entry dates back 30 years, Daniel explained. After that, silence. The former owners mentioned purchasing the house from an elderly man who relocated to a retirement community. Investigations unveiled the truth behind Vincent and Alina Blackwood, the former owners of the mansion. Records indicated Vincent had sold the property shortly after Alina's disappearance, with no trace of divorce or change of address. Alina's financial presence seemed to vanish after the journal's final entry. A team led by Detective Reeves meticulously combed the property, unearthing anomalies beneath the garden shed's concrete foundation. As the aged concrete gave way, a grim discovery emerged: the skeletal remains of a woman in her 40s, bearing signs of fatal head trauma. Among the remains lay a gold wedding band inscribed with the words, "To Alina, my eternal love." The case against Vincent Blackwood swiftly solidified. Despite his advanced age and residence in a care facility, Vincent's confession sent chills down the detective's spine. "She wouldn't stop talking," Vincent confessed, his voice chillingly composed. "Constant chatter through that cursed intercom, always watching, questioning. I disconnected it, but she reconnected it herself, wanting to reach me at all times." Vacant eyes met Detective Reeves. "I just craved silence." Vincent's admission unveiled a web of deceit, fabricating Alina's departure by sending forged postcards to neighbors from fabricated locations. For years, he roamed the house, oblivious to the truth beneath his feet. The trial was swift, with Vincent pleading guilty to murder. The sentencing judge remarked on the calculated nature of the crime and the decades-long charade that followed. Daniel and Meredith, unable to endure the house's dark past, eventually sold the property. Before departing, they held a poignant memorial for Alina in the restored garden. The intercom system, a relic of whispers and secrets, vanished during the subsequent renovations by the new owners. Workers reported eerie static and hushed voices during the removal, attributing them to electrical interference. Detective Reeves revisited the Blackwood case file before its archival, pondering how the house had unfurled its enigmatic tale across time. Justice had finally caught up with Vincent Blackwood, thanks to Alina's unseen hand. Among local law enforcement, the case gained notoriety as the house that echoed. Occasionally, Detective Reeves would pass by the property on her way home. She never halted, but her pace would slow, the window slightly ajar, attuned to the whispers carried on the wind, a reminder of the house's unspoken legacy. Story 12. Amidst the quiet morning, a mysterious package found its way to Sarah Miller's doorstep. No return address, no tracking number, just a plain cardboard box touched by the gentle morning dew. It wasn't meant for her, the name on it unfamiliar. Her instincts whispered for her to ignore it, to leave it be. But curiosity, that insatiable urge, beckoned her to unravel the mystery within. With cautious hands, she peeled away the tape, expecting mundane contents. Yet what lay inside was far from ordinary, a solitary VHS tape accompanied by a cryptic note that simply said, "Watch alone." Sarah held the black plastic cassette, feeling an unexplainable weight in her palms, as if it carried secrets too heavy to bear. Her fingers traced the worn edges, each imperfection a story untold. The handwritten note bore the marks of urgency, as though the sender's message was a desperate plea lost in the mundane backdrop of the suburban neighborhood. Against the backdrop of everyday life, the distant bark of a dog, the laughter of children, the rhythmic hum of a lawnmower, Sarah brought the enigmatic package inside, uncertainty clouding her thoughts. The name Daniel Whitaker held no significance to her in her years of residence. The tape seemed to call out to her, a mystery cloaked in darkness. Ignoring the warnings of her rational mind, Sarah inserted the tape into her old VCR. Static danced on the screen before gradually giving way to a dimly lit room. A man, revealed to be Daniel Whitaker, sat in the shadows, his voice steady but laden with a weight too heavy to bear alone. His tale unfolded a story of innocence tainted by false evidence, of a life upturned by a crime he did not commit. Detective Eliza Ramirez found herself entangled in a web of deceit as more tapes surfaced, each painting a picture of a man wronged by a system designed to bury the truth. The once straightforward case of Catherine Walsh's murder now unraveled before her, revealing dark secrets and hidden agendas. As Sarah received a second package, filled with damning evidence against a powerful pharmaceutical company, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place. Daniel Whitaker's breadcrumb trail led to a conspiracy that reached the highest echelons of power, a tale of corruption and manipulation that threatened to shatter the facade of justice. With Sarah's keen eye and Detective Ramirez's relentless pursuit of truth, the elaborate scheme was unraveled. In a storage unit hidden away from prying eyes, the evidence lay bare: a journal documenting the conspiracy, the original files that incriminated the guilty, and detailed plans of framing an innocent man. Justice, slow but inevitable, arrived as the truth could no longer be silenced. Executives fell, the head of security confessed, and a dangerous drug was pulled from consideration. Daniel Whitaker emerged from the shadows, a survivor of a system that nearly consumed him. In a quiet moment of reflection, Sarah and Daniel stood on her porch where it all began. The wrong address had led to the right hands to a truth that demanded to be uncovered. The tapes, once symbols of deception, now stood as reminders that justice, though elusive, could find its way to those who dared to seek it. Story 13. In the dimly lit apartment, the ancient heating system let out a groan. The pipes rattled softly. It was all part of the building's aging bones, or so she thought. That is until a faint, eerie voice drifted through the vents, cutting through the stillness of the night. It wasn't the normal background noise of neighbors or the building settling. No, this voice was different. It whispered her name, a chilling call that sent shivers down her spine. Pressing her ear against the cold metal grate, she listened intently, heart racing in her chest. A cool breath brushed past her cheek, followed by a soft, almost playful voice. "I know you can hear me." Detective Morgan Shaw stood in the empty apartment, a sense of unease settling upon her as she focused on the rusted vent cover that had been forcibly removed from the wall. The forensics team moved around her with precision, capturing every detail with their cameras. The missing woman, Alina Reeves, had been gone for a week before anyone noticed her absence. What they uncovered within the ventilation system was beyond comprehension. Reports of voices through the vents, Officer Patel read from his notes. Building management dismissed them as noises from the old heating system. Shaw knelt by the vent, tracing the deep scratch marks with a furrowed brow. These marks weren't made by tools, they were frantic, as if someone had desperately tried to escape from within. Alina was a beloved kindergarten teacher, known for her warm smile and thriving houseplants. Her disappearance had left a void in the lives of those who knew her. Her sister recounted how Alina had grown paranoid in the days leading up to her vanishing, convinced that someone was watching her, speaking to her through the very vents that now seemed to echo with whispers. As Shaw delved deeper into the case, she discovered unsettling details. Fibers from Alina's clothing were found in the vent, along with an unidentified fingerprint inside the cover. But what sent a chill down Shaw's spine were the recordings from Alina's phone. Alone in her car, rain pattering on the roof, Shaw listened to the haunting whispers that filled the silence. The history of the building revealed a disturbing pattern. Previous tenants had left abruptly, citing strange noises and hallucinations. The building superintendent, Harold Weber, appeared cooperative but evasive when questioned about the past occupants of apartment 4B. A hidden access panel in Alina's bathroom unveiled a secret passage that connected to the building's ventilation system, a passage where someone had been lurking, watching, and whispering. A search of Weber's meticulously kept apartment uncovered a sinister collection of recordings and personal items belonging to past tenants. His obsession with Alina was laid bare in his digital journal, detailing his twisted relationship with her. The pieces of the puzzle fell into place, painting a grim picture of a predator hidden in plain sight. Weber's arrest was a quiet affair, his demeanor unsettlingly serene as he spoke of the building's voice that guided his actions. The truth of Alina's fate emerged sedated, lured into the vents, lost in the labyrinthine ducts until her final breath. During the trial, Weber's facade of calm cracked only once, a knowing smile directed at Shaw as he spoke of the eternal whispers that echoed through the building. Found guilty on all counts, he was led away, leaving behind a legacy of fear and uncertainty. The once bustling apartment building now stands empty, a silent witness to the horrors that unfolded within its walls. Despite attempts at renovation and change of ownership, the whispers persist, the cold drafts carry voices of the past. The groans of the heating system, the rattling pipes, it's all part of the building's haunted legacy. Or so they try to convince themselves as they drift off to sleep, unaware of the secrets that linger in the shadows. Story 14. Renovations always hold secrets waiting to be unveiled. Among the dust and debris lie traces of the past, old newspapers, broken trinkets, forgotten photographs. But for Sarah and Michael, a peculiar discovery awaited them beneath the floorboards of their newly acquired Victorian-era home. As they pried up the aged wood, a letter emerged, neatly folded as if hidden for years. The paper, fragile and yellowed, bore a cryptic message: "Don't trust the one who knocked." Before they could comprehend the ominous warning, 3 sharp knocks reverberated through the silent house, sending shivers down their spines. Detective Alina Reed entered the scene with a sense of grace and scrutiny, her experienced hands delicately retrieving the note, already tainted by the couple's touch. As the investigation unfolded, Reed observed the genuine fear etched on Sarah and Michael's faces, their innocence shining through their troubled expressions. Delving into the history of the house, Reed unearthed a tale of the Hargrove family, its past intricacies weaving a web of mystery. Franklin and Margaret Hargrove, once the proud owners, now cast shadows of suspicion upon the estate. Franklin, a respected teacher turned recluse, and Margaret, a widow haunted by secrets untold. Through meticulous research and poignant interviews, Reed uncovered a dark chapter in the Hargroves' lives. Franklin's descent into paranoia, fueled by mounting gambling debts and the ominous presence of a relentless collector known as Victor Mercer, painted a sinister picture of deception and fear. Margaret's sister's whispers revealed the truth that had long been concealed: the relentless knocking, the looming threat of the collector, and the desperate measures taken to protect their dark secret. The revelation of Victor Mercer's fate, buried beneath the foundation as a grim testament to past sins, sealed the case with a chilling finality. As the house stood silent, its walls echoing with untold stories, Sarah and Michael made a choice to part ways with its haunting past, leaving behind a legacy of darkness. The abandoned renovation stood as a testament to the mysteries that lingered within the old Victorian home, a poignant reminder of the chilling message that still echoed through the empty halls. Detective Reed closed the case with a heavy heart, knowing that some truths remain veiled, some mysteries unsolved. The note, now a relic of a bygone era, served as a haunting reminder: don't trust the one who knocked. The legacy of Margaret, Franklin, and Victor Mercer continued to weave its enigmatic spell, leaving a lingering question mark in the depths of the night, a question mark that whispered of secrets buried in the shadows, waiting to be unearthed by those brave enough to seek the truth. Story 15. Deep within the heart of the old library, shadows danced in the flickering light, whispering secrets long forgotten. The building stood poised for demolition, its walls holding memories of a bygone era. Construction workers moved with purpose, their tools echoing through the halls as they neared the completion of their task. Yet fate had other plans, hidden in the dusty pages of history. Amidst the chaos of destruction, a lone worker stumbled upon a hidden latch concealed within the ancient bookshelf. With a soft click, the shelf swung open, revealing a passage shrouded in darkness. A narrow corridor beckoned, leading to a secret room untouched by time. The air within was heavy, pregnant with the weight of years gone by. In the center of the room, a solitary chair stood bolted to the floor, a silent sentinel in the dim light. The walls bore a haunting message, etched repeatedly in a desperate plea for recognition. I am still here. The discovery sent shivers down the spine of the construction foreman, who knew instinctively that something sinister lurked within these walls. The call went out, piercing the stillness of the library as the police arrived to secure the scene. Detective Morgan Walsh, a seasoned investigator with a keen eye for the unusual, stood at the threshold of the hidden room. His flashlight cut through the shadows, illuminating the chilling words that adorned the walls like a macabre tapestry. "Secure the scene," Walsh commanded, his voice resounding in the confined space. "Let no one disturb this place until forensics has combed through every inch." The mystery unfurled before him like a dark flower, petals of deceit and betrayal blooming in the musty air. The history of the library whispered of a family haunted by tragedy. The Harringtons, once pillars of the community, had bequeathed the building to the public after the disappearance of their daughter, Rebecca. Her vanishing had left a void in their lives, a wound that refused to heal. As forensic experts delved into the hidden room, they uncovered clues that painted a grim tableau. Hair and fibers clung to the ancient chair, remnants of a struggle long past. The walls bore traces of blood and skin, a silent testimony to the horrors that had unfolded within these walls. Walsh delved into the family's past, uncovering a tangled web of secrets and lies. The timing of the library's donation raised suspicions, hinting at a connection to Rebecca's disappearance. The pieces of the puzzle began to coalesce, forming a chilling portrait of betrayal and madness. Further investigation revealed a sinister truth. The contractor who had installed the bookshelf had ties to the family, a fact that raised red flags in Walsh's mind. The threads of deception wove a tapestry of darkness, drawing him inexorably towards the heart of the mystery. When DNA evidence linked the hidden room to Rebecca, the final pieces fell into place. She had not run away as the world had believed. She had been imprisoned, a captive of her own flesh and blood. The truth, long buried beneath layers of deceit, had finally come to light. Maxwell Harrington, the family patriarch, stood at the center of the storm, his carefully constructed facade crumbling under the weight of guilt and shame. The journal found in his study revealed a mind consumed by obsession, a heart twisted by greed. In a chilling confession, Maxwell revealed the depths of his depravity. Rebecca's fate had been sealed the moment she uncovered his crimes. In a moment of madness, he had silenced her forever, entombing her in a prison of his making. As the truth emerged, the Harrington family faced the harsh light of justice. Rebecca's remains were laid to rest, a final act of closure for a life stolen too soon. The library, once slated for destruction, became a monument to her memory, a silent witness to the horrors that had transpired within its walls. And so, as the sun set on the old library, a sense of peace descended upon the building. The shadows whispered their secrets to the night, carrying with them the echoes of a tragedy long past. And in the stillness of the room, a voice whispered softly, a ghostly echo of a life cut short, "I am still here." Story 16. In the soft glow of the nursery, a young woman set out to repaint the room before her baby's arrival. The walls, once adorned in a faded blue, now awaited a fresh coat of white paint. As she carefully rolled on the first layer, a hidden secret began to unveil itself beneath the surface. At first, barely discernible, then gradually clearer, letters emerged, forming a cryptic message that sent shivers down her spine. "Don't let it hear you." Surprised and intrigued, she took a step back, her heart racing. And there, imprinted in the fresh paint, were tiny handprints too high on the wall to belong to any child. The discovery within the nursery of the Morgan residence marked the beginning of what would later be known as the Whispering House case. The young couple had purchased the Victorian-style home for a bargain price, unaware of the dark history that lurked within its walls. Detective Sarah Klein arrived at the house, her footsteps echoing on the creaking floorboards. A pregnant woman, her eyes rimmed with exhaustion, greeted her at the door, hands trembling as she recounted the eerie findings in the nursery. The previous owners had fled in the dead of night, leaving behind only essentials in their hasty departure. The detective delved into the house's unsettling past, uncovering a pattern of short-lived occupants and disturbing reports of children hearing whispers and feeling watched. Further investigation revealed that the house had once belonged to Alina Blackwood, a widow who ran an orphanage on the premises. 5 children in her care had mysteriously vanished, their fate unknown until now. Beneath the nursery floor, hidden for decades, lay the remains of the lost orphans, bearing pendants engraved with their names. As the truth unraveled, the nursery walls glowed under the detective's scrutiny, revealing countless handprints left by the trapped souls. Alina's twisted beliefs and dark deeds came to light, painting a chilling picture of greed and cruelty. The house, tainted by its past, stood silent and empty, a relic of unspeakable horrors. Despite the closure brought by the victim's proper burial, an eerie presence lingered, reaching out through time and space, beyond the layers of paint and plaster. The nursery walls, witness to unspeakable tragedy, were eventually demolished, but the whispers of lost children persisted, haunting those who dared to enter. The house, condemned and forsaken, held onto its secrets, a cold case locked away in the annals of history. Detective Klein, haunted by the case, kept a memento, a photograph capturing the luminous handprints that bore witness to a heinous crime, a reminder that some evils leave indelible marks that no amount of paint can erase. Story 17. The aged apartment held secrets within its walls, pipes that groaned, floorboards that whispered in the darkness of the night. But to the new tenant, the sounds that echoed through the rooms were not mere echoes of the building settling. The footsteps, slow and deliberate, seemed to dance above her on the top floor, a phantom waltz in the shadows. One fateful night, she summoned the courage to tap the ceiling with a broomstick, seeking to silence the mysterious footfalls. The world hushed. A pregnant pause lingered in the air before a single knock reverberated from within the ceiling itself. Sarah Coleman, the tenant, kept the unnerving incident to herself, attributing it to the quirks of the old building or perhaps a stray creature exploring the attic space. Night after night, the rhythmic steps persisted, tracing invisible paths across her ceiling. She adapted, drowning out the unsettling sounds with blaring television volumes and headphones, seeking solace in the distractions of the modern world. Detective Morris, a seasoned investigator, stumbled upon the enigmatic apartment when a diligent maintenance worker accidentally uncovered a hidden crawlspace while attending to routine repairs. Behind a section of drywall in the hallway near Sarah's unit, a narrow passage materialized, a clandestine world unbeknownst to the building's occupants. As the worker's flashlight pierced the darkness of the concealed space, it revealed a startling tableau, remnants of a secret life lived in the shadows. Food wrappers, empty water bottles, a soiled blanket, and a weathered notebook lay testament to a presence that dwelled unseen among the walls. The police were summoned, and Detective Morris, accompanied by his partner Detective Rivera, delved into the mystery that unfolded before them. The maintenance worker, pale and trembling, reiterated his discovery. Someone had been living within the walls, observing, waiting. The notebook, a chronicle of meticulous observations, detailed Sarah Coleman's every move, her comings and goings, her habits, her very essence captured within its pages. The once methodical handwriting devolved into madness, strange symbols adorning the margins, hinting at a mind unhinged. Forensic teams scoured the hidden passages, uncovering a labyrinth of interconnected tunnels spanning the building's structure, a clandestine network that dated back through the annals of time. The invisible pathways led to 5 different apartments, but their ultimate destination was singular: Sarah Coleman's domain, a focal point of unseen eyes. Interviews with current residents yielded little beyond the ordinary hum of apartment life, a facade that masked the secrets buried within the building's walls. Former tenants, however, whispered of unseen watchers, of eerie sensations that plagued their nights and drove them to flee in silence. A breakthrough emerged when forensic analysis unveiled microscopic traces of blood, linking the enigma to a missing soul, Martin Weaver, a former resident who had vanished without a trace. His connection to Sarah's abode unraveled a sinister thread that bound them in a web of shadows. Revisiting Martin's disappearance, Detective Morris unearthed a chilling narrative. A recluse named Edward, whose solitary existence had gone unnoticed, had crossed paths with Martin before his vanishing act, sparking a chain of events that led to the abyss. Edward's dark history unfurled as investigators pieced together his nomadic existence, a trail of transient abodes and enigmatic departures that bespoke a sinister purpose. His fixation on silence, his hidden agendas, all pointed to a malevolent force lurking in the shadows. A remote cabin nestled in the wilderness bore witness to Edward's twisted machinations. Walls adorned with photographs, maps, and journals chronicled his obsession with the unsuspecting denizens of the apartment buildings he had haunted. Missing persons reports, a macabre tally of lives extinguished, cast a pall over the investigators' hearts. The earth itself bore witness to the atrocities committed, as cadaver dogs led the authorities to freshly disturbed graves, each a testament to Edward's malevolence. The truth, a chilling revelation that echoed through the corridors of justice, painted a portrait of a predator concealed within the walls of society. As the forensic puzzle unraveled, Detective Morris returned to the apartment building where it all began, the hidden passages now sealed off, a veneer of normalcy restored. Yet whispers persisted, echoes of a presence that lingered in the shadows, an unseen specter haunting the residents. A glimmer of hope shattered as a new discovery emerged, a notebook pristine and foreboding, tucked away in the hallway, a harbinger of the darkness that still lurked. A cryptic message etched in its pages foretold of a new sanctuary, a refuge beyond the reach of justice. In a chilling twist of fate, Sarah Coleman vanished into the night, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a void that echoed through the empty apartment. The manhunt for Edward, now revealed as Edward Mercer, a master of deception and manipulation, intensified, his shadow looming large over the city. Thermal scans revealed no signs of life within the walls, leaving a haunting question in their wake: who else remained hidden, waiting to strike from the shadows? Detective Morris, haunted by the footsteps that echoed in the night, found himself gazing upward, a silent vigil against the darkness that lurked above. The tale of Sarah Coleman, lost to the unseen forces that dwelt within the walls, resonated across state lines, a cautionary tale of the dangers that lurked in the most mundane of places. The ghosts of Edward's victims, forever etched in the annals of tragedy, served as a grim reminder of the shadows that danced just beyond the light's reach. And as night descended, casting its shroud over the city, Detective Morris stood vigil, a solitary figure in the darkness, listening for the echoes of footsteps that haunted his dreams, a sentinel against the unseen terrors that prowled in the night. Story 18. The gentle current whispered its lullaby that morning, the water mirroring the sky in a perfect stillness. The fisherman's boat glided effortlessly, the only disruption a mysterious suitcase bobbing near the shore. Initially dismissing it as discarded clothes, curiosity tugged at him, urging a closer look. As he approached, a wave of putrid stench enveloped him, clinging to the air like a sinister secret unveiled. Chains embraced the case, rust gnawing at its edges, a testament to time's relentless march. When the authorities pried it open, the horror within eclipsed all expectations. No garments awaited them, only a haunting sight, hair cascading like dark rivers, fingers frozen in a desperate grip, and at the depths, a chilling note: this isn't the first. Detective Sarah Mercer arrived, a figure of quiet determination amidst the grim tableau. The victim, a woman in her prime, now a ghostly apparition with skin kissed by the water's caress. The medical examiner meticulously catalogued every detail, reverence in each movement before the body's final journey. Mercer's gaze lingered not on the brutality, but on the unusual care bestowed upon the victim: manicured nails, freshly styled hair, draped in opulent attire. She was not discarded here, Mercer mused, eyes tracing the undulating dance of the water against the shore. She was arranged, adorned. The victim, identified as Catherine Walsh, a real estate maven renowned for her prowess in selling luxury abodes. Divorced, childless, a solitary figure in an exclusive neighborhood. Colleagues painted a portrait of ambition, meticulousness, and secrecy. Her disappearance flagged by an assistant, a crucial showing left unattended, a commission dangling in uncertainty. She'd never miss that chance, the assistant asserted, conviction etched in her voice. That sale was her crowning glory. Investigative tendrils snaked through Walsh's pristine abode, a realm of immaculate order. Designer pieces poised with precision, a dustless oasis in every corner. The fridge housed regimented meals, a wardrobe a symphony of colors, shoes cradled in protective sheaths. An anomaly beckoned in her office, a drawer slightly ajar, revealing a leather-bound journal. The final entry a cryptic whisper: he's watching again. Same car, different plates. Digital breadcrumbs illuminated Walsh's cyber world, a deluge of messages from enigmatic senders, all echoing the same refrain: I see your perfection. a macabre dance of synchronized timing, a symphony of surveillance and sinister admiration. Her browsing history a tapestry of vigilance, a plea for protection against unseen eyes. Mercer deciphered the mosaic, piecing together a portrait of obsession, of calculated precision. A break in the clouds emerged from an unexpected source, a pawnshop proprietor, a glint of recognition in his eyes. Walsh's emerald necklace, a missing piece to the macabre puzzle. A familiar face emerged from the shadows. Michael Linden, a ghost in the mundane, a custodian of secrets. Surveillance unveiled his clandestine visits, a dance of shadows in Walsh's realm of opulence and deceit. Linden's lair, a chamber of horrors, walls adorned with captured souls, each a mirror of the other. Walsh's essence intermingled with others, a sinister collection frozen in time. The shrine, a haunting testimony to his meticulous madness, a labyrinth of stolen moments and twisted devotion. Linden's silence in the interrogation room, a chilling prelude to the revelation of his dark symphony. They were flawed, he murmured, a monotone confession. Their perfection a lie, a deceit I could not abide. The hunt for the missing pieces of Linden's puzzle led investigators to desolate landscapes, to suitcases holding echoes of shattered lives. Victims bearing Walsh's likeness, women ensnared in Linden's web of obsession and delusion. His trial a somber affair, a theater of horror and justice intertwined. Families stood as silent sentinels, their gaze a tapestry of grief and unanswered questions. For Mercer, closure came with Linden's sentencing, a life entombed in concrete and steel, a fate sealed in ink and silence. Yet shadows lingered, questions whispered in the corridors of her mind. What drove Linden to seek perfection in the flawed, to sculpt his victims in his twisted image of beauty? The river flowed ceaselessly, a silent witness to tales untold, carrying secrets to the unknown depths. In the precinct's hushed confines, Mercer's desk bore the weight of chilling reminders, the notebooks of the lost souls, a testament to the darkness lurking beneath the veneer of normalcy. In the quiet recesses of ordinary lives, shadows danced in silence, predators masked in the guises of the familiar, waiting for the moment of revelation, the flaw that would unravel the illusion of perfection. Story 19. The arrival of Michael and Sarah Klein to the Victorian-era home brought a quiet anticipation, a sense of stepping into a bygone era where shadows whispered of secrets long forgotten. The house, with its ornate woodwork and high ceilings, stood as a silent witness to the passage of time, its walls holding stories untold. It began with a simple water stain in the master bedroom, a subtle blemish on the delicate floral wallpaper that caught Sarah's eye. As they peeled back the layers, a hidden narrative unraveled before them, each strip revealing a piece of a puzzle long buried in the past. Beneath the surface, written in ink that seemed to pulse with a life of its own, was a name, Alina Winters. The name repeated over and over in a frantic, uneven script that spoke of desperation and longing. Sarah's fingers traced the letters, feeling the weight of a story untold pressing against her skin. Their search for Alina Winters led them down a winding path of mystery and intrigue. Online archives whispered of a missing persons case from decades ago, of a young woman with dark hair and haunting eyes who vanished without a trace. The photograph from the article bore a striking resemblance to the woman who had sold them the house, Margaret Cavendish, with her silver-streaked dark hair and enigmatic eyes. The discovery unsettled them, stirring a curiosity that soon turned into an all-consuming obsession. Nights were spent poring over property records, reaching out to previous homeowners, and unraveling the tangled threads of a past long forgotten. The renovation of their new home took a backseat to the unraveling mystery that lay hidden within its walls. As they delved deeper into the past, a chilling revelation emerged: a name from the past, Eleanor Winters, intertwined with another, Rebecca Eldridge. Handwriting experts compared the wall writings to samples from old journals, leading to an unsettling connection between Eleanor and Rebecca, a connection that transcended time and sanity. The walls of the house became a canvas for a fractured mind, a confession etched in ink and desperation, a plea for understanding in a world that had long forgotten. The layers of the past peeled away, revealing a truth more chilling than they could have ever imagined. Forensic teams descended upon their home, uncovering hidden spaces and buried secrets that painted a picture of a twisted reality. DNA analysis and fingerprints intertwined, weaving a tale of betrayal and obsession that spanned decades. The remains unearthed from beneath the garden spoke of a tragedy long buried, a life stolen, and a soul fractured. Rebecca Eldridge, the elusive figure behind the tangled web of identities, was finally apprehended, her fractured mind laid bare in the harsh light of truth. The names on the wall, once a mystery, now stood as a testament to a crime unsolved for far too long. As Michael and Sarah watched from their front porch, the house that had once beckoned with its charm now stood as a haunting reminder of the darkness that lurked within. Their dream home had become a part of a true crime tale, a footnote in history, forever marked as the house where the walls whispered of murder and madness, where secrets lay buried in the shadows of the past. Story 20. The apartment had sat in silence for months, its emptiness a void waiting to be filled with life once more. When the new tenants crossed the threshold, their expectations were low, a layer of dust, perhaps some remnants of the past left behind. Yet one door remained stubbornly closed, a mystery within a mystery. It was a closet, locked tight from the inside, guarding its secrets with a steadfast resolve. After much effort, the landlord managed to pry the door open, revealing not the expected old coats or forgotten belongings, but something far more unsettling. The walls bore witness to a haunting tale, etched with deep, jagged scratches that spoke of desperation and confinement. And in the dim corner, an ancient flip phone lay dormant, its screen still aglow with a single unread message, a message that lingered like a whisper in the stillness of the room. Detective Morgan Shaw, seasoned in the ways of darkness, felt a chill run down her spine as she surveyed the scene. It wasn't the absence of blood or violence that unsettled her, but the silent screams of those scratch marks, a silent plea for freedom from a captive soul. "We need forensics here immediately," she instructed her partner, Officer Reed, who diligently captured the haunting evidence through his lens, and gather all information on the previous tenants. The message on the phone was simple yet chilling. "I know what you did." The landlord, a man perpetually on edge, shared sparse details of the previous tenant, a young woman named Emma Caldwell, who had vanished without a trace, leaving behind unpaid rent and a lingering sense of unease. Quiet, kept to herself. "No trouble," he muttered, eyes darting away from the closet as if fearing its secrets. Forensics uncovered a grim truth hidden within the scratches: traces of blood belonging to Emma, along with 2 other DNA samples. One remained a mystery, while the other belonged to Derek Mercer, a man long believed to be dead. Shaw's mind raced with questions, the pieces of the puzzle refusing to align in a logical manner. Emma's apartment whispered of a life interrupted, a story left unfinished. Unanswered calls to her sister, a sudden silence in her routine, and a shadowy figure entering her life, a figure with no name, only darkness. As the investigation unfolded, a pattern emerged, leading Shaw down a twisted path of deceit and manipulation. Surveillance footage captured a figure in a baseball cap trailing Emma, his identity carefully shielded from prying eyes. And when partial fingerprints of Derek Mercer were discovered on the closet's doorknob, the truth began to unravel like a thread pulled from a tangled web. He faked his death, Shaw concluded, her voice heavy with the weight of realization. But the why and the how remained shrouded in mystery, a veil that only time and relentless pursuit could lift. The discovery of Lynette Porter, another missing soul ensnared in Mercer's web, shed light on the depths of his depravity. As the investigation delved deeper, a sinister picture emerged: a man consumed by a need for control, a thirst for suffering. Journals filled with his twisted thoughts, photographs capturing his victim's essence, and videos depicting unspeakable horrors all pointed to a mind unhinged, a soul devoid of empathy. The manhunt for Derek Mercer spanned jurisdictions, a race against time to stop a predator in his tracks. And when he was finally apprehended, a sense of relief mingled with dread, for the darkness that lurked within him was a shadow that refused to dissipate. During interrogation, Mercer's calm demeanor sent shivers down Shaw's spine, his words a chilling reminder of the evil that walked among them. The trial laid bare the extent of his deception, the lengths he had gone to in order to satisfy his twisted desires. The jury's verdict was swift and decisive, condemning Mercer to a life devoid of freedom, a life spent behind bars where his darkness could no longer roam unchecked. And as the echoes of justice reverberated through the courtroom, Lynette Porter's voice rose above the fray, a beacon of resilience in the face of unspeakable horrors. The case left a mark on Detective Shaw, a reminder that evil wears many faces, and sometimes the most insidious crimes leave no trace of blood, only the haunting echoes of souls fighting to break free from the shadows. And as she gazed upon the closet door from Emma's apartment, now a symbol of resilience and survival, Shaw knew that some mysteries were meant to be unraveled, no matter how deep they may be buried in the darkness of the human heart. Story 21. In the quiet of the night, as the world around you drifts into dreams, let me tell you a tale that will wrap you in a shroud of mystery, guiding you gently towards the realm of sleep. Picture a wooden plank worn with age, yielding ever so slightly under the weight of a curious soul, a mere whisper of movement, yet enough to beckon her curiosity. She paused, her fingers tracing the edges, sensing a hidden secret awaiting discovery. With a delicate touch, she pried up the boards, unveiling a dark, narrow space nestled beneath the foundation of her new abode. Sarah Coleman, guided by an eerie intuition, gazed into the depths below where shadows danced in a silent waltz. Detective Morgan Reed stood sentinel behind her, a silent witness to the unfolding mystery. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, a palpable unease that whispered of secrets long kept hidden. As the flashlight pierced the darkness, it revealed a chilling tableau, a clandestine chamber adorned with photographs capturing Sarah's every move, a shrine to obsession crafted by unseen hands. Each image a haunting echo of her daily existence, a voyeuristic gaze that had lingered unnoticed for years. The cottage, a quaint refuge purchased from the estate of a solitary man, now bore witness to a sinister legacy. Walter Green, the previous owner, had woven a web of surveillance around Sarah, his fixation transcending mere curiosity, delving into the realm of obsession. The investigators, with their methodical precision, unearthed a twisted narrative woven within the hidden chamber. Fingerprints, like ghostly echoes of the past, painted a portrait of Walter's solitary vigil, a vigil that had spanned years unbeknownst to Sarah. A chilling realization gripped the investigators as they pieced together the puzzle of Walter's obsession. His fixation, rooted in a troubled past, had blossomed into a dark fantasy that threatened to shatter Sarah's newfound tranquility. The discovery of a storage unit, a shrine to Sarah's former life meticulously recreated, sent shivers down their spines. The replicas of her belongings, the eerie mannequin mirroring her likeness, all spoke of a plan veiled in madness, a plan that had narrowly escaped fruition. Walter's tragic descent into the realms of delusion, his yearning for a connection that existed only in his fractured mind, painted a portrait of a man consumed by an unattainable dream. Sarah, haunted by the specter of what could have been, made the painful choice to sever ties with the cottage tainted by Walter's twisted legacy. As the case closed, a specter of unease lingered in the shadows, a reminder of how fragile the line between safety and peril truly is. Sarah, now a survivor of a perilous dance with fate, embarked on a journey of healing, her steps guided by caution and resilience. The cottage, now a silent sentinel to a tale untold, passed into new hands, its secrets buried beneath layers of time and renovation. Life moved forward, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unseen threats, of shadows that lurk just beyond the threshold of sight. And so, as you drift into the realm of dreams, let the tale of the hidden room beneath the floor weave a tapestry of mystery around you, a lullaby of secrets and shadows that fade into the gentle embrace of sleep. Good night, dear listener. May your dreams be peaceful and your slumber undisturbed. Story 22. In the quiet neighborhood, a house stood still, untouched by life for years. Whispers among the neighbors spoke of a young woman who had vanished, leaving the house to decay in solitude. But when the new occupants crossed the threshold, they were met with a locked bedroom, a puzzle waiting to be unraveled. With determination, they forced the door open, releasing a cloud of dust that hung heavy in the air, a veil of forgotten memories. Yet something lingered, a presence unseen but deeply felt. The room revealed itself like a forgotten dream, the bed neatly made, the mirror reflecting nothing but emptiness. A solitary candle, its flame long extinguished, stood as a silent witness to the passage of time, its wax frozen in place like tears unshed. And there on the desk lay a notebook, its pages whispering untold secrets in fresh ink. Detective Morgan, with a quiet intensity, delved into the journal of Elise Winters, a young soul lost to the shadows, her words a haunting echo of the past. Elise, aged 26, had vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Her meticulous handwriting danced across the pages, each stroke a piece of her unraveling story. The final entry, etched with urgency, spoke of unseen eyes watching, of a looming threat ignored by the world outside. "I know he's watching me tonight," her words cried out, a plea for understanding in a world deaf to her fears. As the detective pored over the notebook, forensic experts combed the room for hidden truths, for the faintest whisper of justice. Elise, once a paralegal entangled in the web of corporate deceit, had stumbled upon secrets that threatened to consume her. The room bore witness to her struggles, to the silent battles fought in shadows cast by the flickering candlelight. The landlord, a specter in the doorway, bore a pale mask of guilt and unease. His assurances crumbled like dust in the wind, his words a feeble attempt to mask the darkness that clung to the room. Elise's life, once filled with purpose and dedication, now lay bare in the silence of the abandoned space, a reminder of the price of seeking truth in a world of lies. The investigation unearthed a tangled web of deception, a conspiracy woven with threads of greed and betrayal. Elise's discoveries led to a hidden trove of evidence, a key to unlocking the sinister machinations of those who sought to bury the truth beneath layers of deceit. The room, a silent observer, held the key to unraveling the mystery that had haunted the house for years. As the truth emerged, a chilling revelation gripped the hearts of those who dared to seek justice. Elise's voice, captured in clandestine recordings, echoed through the room, a ghostly reminder of the price of defiance in a world ruled by darkness. The truth, once buried, now rose like a specter, haunting those who sought to silence it. In the end, justice prevailed, though the shadows of the past lingered like a ghostly presence in the empty house. The new tenants, wary of the secrets that dwelled within its walls, chose to walk away, leaving the house to stand as a silent sentinel to the memory of Elise Winters. The room, a sanctuary of lost dreams and shattered hopes, whispered of a justice that transcended the grave, a legacy of courage and truth that refused to be silenced. And in the darkness of the night, a flickering light in the upstairs window cast a final farewell to a soul whose voice echoed in the silence, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded in shadows. Story 23. The real estate listing made no mention of a basement. The blueprints held no clue to its existence. Yet when the family peeled back the worn carpet, they uncovered a hidden door. A door with a hefty, rusted handle that took the strength of 3 to pry open. A rush of stale air met them, thick with the scent of damp earth. Descending steps led into darkness, promising storage but delivering something far more unsettling. A solitary chair stood under a swaying light bulb, casting eerie shadows. And on the wall behind it, a series of photographs depicting them. Images stolen from within the walls of their own home. The Mercer family had settled into the suburban residence in the dead of winter, the nights long and the trees bare in the cold. The old 2-story house, with its weathered exterior and creaking floors, had whispered tales of character and history to them, but they hadn't bargained for the deep, dark secrets buried within its walls, secrets that would collide violently with their present. Detective Sarah Connors arrived at the scene with her partner, the crime scene unit already at work, securing the area with fluttering yellow tape. Mrs. Mercer's voice had trembled over the phone as she described the hidden chamber beneath their living room floor. "We must document everything before anyone else ventures below," Connors directed, slipping on latex gloves with practiced ease. The camera flashes punctuated the stairwell as the forensic team captured the eerie scene. The wooden steps groaned under their weight. The basement, no larger than a standard bedroom, boasted gray concrete walls. In the center, a solitary chair was bolted to the floor, illuminated harshly by the bare bulb above. But it was the lineup of photographs that seized their attention, 37 images, meticulously arranged in chronological order. "These go back nearly 4 weeks," noted Connor's partner, studying the timestamps on the prints. "Look at this one, Mrs. Mercer asleep, Mr. Mercer at the table, the children in their rooms. No signs of forced entry, no evidence of theft. Just an invasion of privacy so insidious it left the family reeling." Forensic analysis revealed multiple fingerprints, many belonging to previous owners of the house. Records unveiled a troubling history of transient occupants, selling the property at increasingly reduced prices, each staying for less than a year, each unaware of the hidden basement. "We need to speak with every former owner," Connors instructed, flipping through her notes. The case took a sinister turn as they delved into the property's past. Inconsistencies in blueprints altered between sales, permits filed and retracted, inspection reports with crucial sections censored. The breakthrough came during an interview with the contractor who had renovated the house 7 years earlier. his face drained of color at the sight of the basement photos. There was no such room, he insisted, hands trembling. I stripped that place to the bones. No basement, no door, nothing beneath but dirt and concrete. A hidden memory card in the light fixture revealed hundreds more images, not only of the Mercers, but of past families. Children sleeping, parents arguing, intimate moments captured by an unseen voyeur. The investigation took a chilling turn with the recovery of audio recordings hidden in a weatherproof box in the basement. Conversations from the master bedroom, the kitchen, the living room, all recorded with eerie precision. We must tear down every wall, Connors urged, her tone urgent. Check air vents, light fixtures, outlets. Someone has been watching these families for years. Behind the photo wall, a narrow passage led to a monitoring station. A desk, a chair, a laptop linked to wireless cameras, and a journal detailing the lives of each family that had resided in the house. Their routines, their vulnerabilities, all meticulously chronicled. The handwriting matched that of the house's original builder, Edward Kelvin. Records hinted at his mysterious disappearance during construction, his death unverified. The journal's final entries grew erratic, obsessively fixated on the family's ignorance of his presence. Phrases like "they never see me" and "the next family arrives tomorrow" filled the pages. Fingerprint analysis confirmed the unimaginable Edward Kelvin had never left the house. He had ensconced himself in its hidden recesses, a silent observer of those who dwelt within. The manhunt culminated in Kelvin's discovery, curled in a crawl space, his body attuned to the narrow passages he had crafted. During interrogation, he spoke of the families as if they were actors in his private drama, his delusions painting them as willing participants in his surveillance. The families, including the Mercers, fled the property, leaving behind possessions, haunted by the violation of their privacy. The trial unveiled the extent of Kelvin's surveillance network, the house itself a voyeuristic masterpiece, designed to capture every moment of its inhabitants' lives. When the verdict was rendered, Kelvin showed no emotion, lost in the labyrinth of his fractured mind, where the house persisted as a memory. The property was razed, the earth beneath it disturbed, but for those families, the specter of Kelvin's voyeurism lingered, a reminder of the unseen eyes that had watched their every move. In quiet moments, they wondered if they were ever truly alone, if the walls held secrets still waiting to be revealed. Story 24. The motel stood forgotten, a relic of another era where transient souls sought brief respite from their journeys. The key was passed to her with a silent warning, a caution lingering in the clerk's eyes. Avoid the final door on the left, his voice barely above a whisper. Intrigue beckoned her as night descended, casting shadows along the narrow corridor. Pausing before the ominous door, she felt a chill seep through the handle, a harbinger of the unknown. The door, nondescript like its counterparts, revealed its secret only when she pressed her ear against its surface. A faint, haunting breath whispered from the other side. Detective Morgan Reed awoke to a grim reality, stepping beneath the yellow tape that marked the threshold of tragedy. The stench of blood tainted the air, a metallic tang that clung to her senses. Amidst the pristine bathroom and undisturbed bed, a young woman lay lifeless on the floor, her features frozen in eternal surprise. Reed knelt beside her, the scene a mosaic of contradictions. The forensic technician's words echoed hollowly. Third victim this season, same modus operandi. The victim's elegance clashed with the motel's squalor, a puzzle demanding resolution. The hotel manager lingered, haunted by the unexpected horror that now tainted his establishment. Reed's keen eye absorbed every detail, searching for the elusive thread that connected the victims. Back at the precinct, the incident board bore witness to the grim pattern emerging from the shadows. Autopsy findings revealed a narrative of intimate violence devoid of physical evidence, a crime born of personal vendetta. Days blurred into nights as Reed delved deeper, unraveling the enigma of Elaine Werner's final moments. A cryptic mention of C led her to the labyrinth of Werner's professional world, where secrets lurked behind polished facades. Charles Emerson, the epitome of corporate respectability, crumbled beneath Reed's scrutiny. His denials clashed with the damning evidence, each piece a mosaic of guilt. The truth emerged from the shadows, revealing a predator disguised in the trappings of success. Emerson's calculated facade shattered, revealing the darkness that dwelled within. The trial was a spectacle of justice, a fleeting reckoning for the lives shattered by one man's insatiable need for control. Reed met Emerson's gaze, a void staring back at her, devoid of remorse or redemption. The courtroom drama unfolded, a catharsis for the families left behind to pick up the shattered pieces of their lives. The media dubbed it the door on the left case, a cautionary tale of the depths humanity could sink to in pursuit of power. Emerson's legacy lived on in the whispers of psychologists and the fascination of armchair detectives. But for Reed, the echoes of that fateful night lingered, a reminder that evil often wore the mask of normalcy. As she walked down hotel corridors, the shadows of the past danced at the edges of her vision, a silent reminder of the secrets that lurked behind closed doors. In the evidence locker, 3 keys stood as silent witnesses to the horrors that unfolded behind the last door on the left, a stark reminder that some scars never truly fade. Story 25. The old Polaroid held secrets within its faded borders, a relic of a past birthday celebration that had long slipped from memory. Faces frozen in smiles, candles flickering innocently, nothing out of the ordinary at first glance. But when Sarah Winters inherited the box of forgotten photographs from her mother's attic, a chilling discovery awaited her. Among the cherished memories captured in time, a sinister presence lurked in the background, unnoticed by all but her keen eye. A man, shrouded in shadow, lingered just outside the warm glow of the birthday candles, his presence growing more pronounced with each passing photo. As Sarah sifted through the collection, the initial comfort of nostalgia gave way to an unsettling realization. The images that should have held only joy now revealed a creeping dread that tainted the innocence of childhood recollections. In the first snapshot, the mysterious figure was a mere whisper of darkness at the edge of the frame, a silent observer during a joyous celebration. By the second photo, he had advanced, his form now discernible within the confines of the room. And with each subsequent picture, he drew nearer, a spectral presence haunting the edges of the family gatherings. With trembling hands, Sarah reached out to her father, seeking answers to the enigma that had infiltrated their cherished memories. His initial disbelief gave way to a chilling recognition as he too acknowledged the unknown figure that had infiltrated their past. Detective Marcus Reed, a stalwart presence in the face of the unknown, took up the investigation as Sarah laid bare the haunting progression of the shadowy intruder. As the rain drummed a melancholic melody against the precinct windows, Sarah and the detective delved into the unsettling mystery that defied logical explanation. Each photo laid out before them painted a haunting portrait of a presence that defied recognition, a specter moving with purpose through the captured moments of joy. The shadows danced across the evidence, whispering of secrets long buried beneath layers of forgotten time. Despite their efforts, the elusive figure remained a ghostly enigma, slipping through the cracks of memory and evading identification. It was only through meticulous examination and modern technology that the truth began to unravel, revealing a connection to a dark chapter of unsolved crimes that span decades. The enhanced images brought forth startling details: a scar, a ring, a reflection that hinted at a face long obscured by shadow. The pieces of the puzzle fell into place as dental records provided a crucial link to a man long vanished from the annals of justice. Robert Keller, a maintenance worker with a sinister past, emerged as the specter haunting the family photos, his presence a harbinger of unspeakable horrors that had plagued the community for years. The revelation of Keller's dark deeds sent shockwaves through the community, connecting long-dormant cases of missing children to the insidious figure that had stalked the periphery of countless family gatherings. The shadows that had haunted the past now stepped into the harsh light of truth, their malevolent presence finally unmasked after years of clandestine existence. As Sarah sat in solitude, surrounded by the damning evidence that had shattered her illusions of a carefree childhood, a bittersweet closure washed over her. The closure came at a heavy cost, as the remains of a long-lost child were identified, bringing a measure of justice to grieving families, but reopening old wounds that had never truly healed. The box of memories, once a repository of joy and laughter, now held the weight of unspeakable darkness. The hidden figures that had lurked in the shadows of celebration had been exposed, their legacy of terror etched into the fabric of time. And as Sarah closed the lid on the haunting past, she knew that some nightmares, once unearthed, could never be fully laid to rest. Story 26, The Forgotten Doll House. She never cared for venturing up to the attic, but when the storm brought a leak in the roof, she was left with no other option. The attic was a realm of neglect, shrouded in dust and cobwebs. Amidst the forgotten items in the darkest corner sat an ancient dollhouse. Its intricate design sent shivers down her spine, the miniature furniture meticulously arranged. However, as she gazed into its depths, a knot twisted in her stomach. The figures within were not mere dolls, they were tiny, hand-carved replicas of her family, each figure placed precisely where they sat downstairs except for one. The figure meant to be her was standing by the attic door. Rebecca Morgan traced her finger along the dollhouse roof, feeling the indentation where the small wooden figure stood. A chill ran through her, unrelated to the draft whispering through the rafters. This dollhouse had no place here. This wasn't her childhood home, but a rental property her family had recently occupied. The unsettling discovery led Rebecca to contact the authorities in a panic. Upon arrival, the officers found a distressed family, unwilling to return upstairs. Detective Sarah Harmon, the lead investigator, initially brushed off their fears as a prank or the whims of a family adjusting to a new environment. Yet it was the meticulous detail that caught Detective Harmon's attention. Each tiny figurine captured a unique trait of the family members: the father's receding hairline, the son's hoodie, even the mother's birthmark. Forensic analysis revealed fingerprints on the dollhouse belonging to none of the family members. Even more disturbing were the microscopic cameras embedded in the miniature figure's eyes, all linked to a hidden recording system beneath the dollhouse. As the investigation unfolded, it became evident that the positions of the figures in the dollhouse mirrored the family's movements on different days, indicating a prolonged period of observation. Detective Harmon realized this went beyond mere stalking. It was an unparalleled level of obsession. The breakthrough came with digital forensics, tracing the data to an apartment across town. Inside, a disturbing scene unfolded. Photographs of the Morgan family and other occupants adorn the walls, journal entries meticulously detailing their routines, and a workshop filled with unfinished dollhouses representing various homes in the vicinity. The apartment belonged to Martin Wells, the son of the previous homeowners. Financial struggles led him to covertly reside in a house, surveilling the tenants through the dollhouse. Wells viewed the dollhouse as a means of control, a way to possess both the property and its inhabitants. During interrogation, Wells remained disturbingly composed, revealing his fixation on maintaining authority over his childhood home. The psychological evaluation exposed a delusional sense of possession, turning people into mere playthings in his elaborate scheme. Wells faced charges of stalking, invasion of privacy, and illegal surveillance. The case sparked a reevaluation of real estate disclosure laws and the responsibilities of agents to ensure the proper vacation of properties. The judge, upon sentencing, acknowledged the severe violation of the Morgan family's privacy and security. The case left criminologists shaken, pondering how long Wells could have operated unnoticed if not for Rebecca's discovery. The Morgans relocated, haunted by the realization that their lives had been scrutinized and manipulated. Rebecca, in her victim impact statement, admitted to lingering paranoia, always wary of unseen eyes. She rid their new home of all miniatures, yet a lingering unease persisted. The tale of the forgotten dollhouse serves as a chilling reminder of the boundaries between observation and intrusion, reality and delusion. For somewhere out there, the miniature figures may still be silently moving, orchestrating lives in a twisted game of control. Story 27. In the stillness of the night, a faint flicker danced across the baby monitor screen, a fleeting anomaly that caught the mother's attention. Brushing it off as mere interference, she settled back into the comfort of her bed. But then a crackling static filled the room, and a voice, soft and eerie, whispered, "SHHH, go back to sleep." A chill ran down her spine as her heart quickened its pace. Racing to her son's room, fear clutching at her chest, she found the crib empty, the room untouched. The window remained shut, the door securely locked. The only peculiar sight was the stuffed rabbit lying on the carpet, its dark, unblinking eyes fixed on her. Rebecca's screams echoed through the night, raw and desperate, until her voice gave out, and the neighbors, stirred from their slumber, dialed for help. When authorities arrived, they discovered her on the nursery floor, holding onto the rabbit for dear life, lost in a world of disbelief and anguish. Samuel, her 4-month-old son, was gone without a trace, leaving behind a void that seemed to defy explanation. The investigation unfolded with more questions than answers. No forced entry, no alarms triggered, just a haunting voice and a missing child. Suspicions turned towards Rebecca, a mother grappling with postpartum struggles, her every action scrutinized under a harsh spotlight. The fibers on the windowsill hinted at an intruder skilled in the art of stealth, evading detection with a precision that sent shivers down the spines of seasoned investigators. But then a new lead emerged, casting a shadow over everything they thought they knew. Daniel, the estranged husband with a secret life, returned from his travels bearing a weight of guilt and deceit that threatened to unravel the fragile threads of their family's shattered reality. His hands, marred by telltale calluses, revealed a hobby that held darker implications. Financial trails led to unsettling discoveries, a web of lies spun with meticulous care. The A second family, a hidden agenda, a plan set in motion long before the night Samuel vanished. As the pieces fell into place, the baby monitor stood at the center of the storm, a witness to the twisted machinations that had torn a family asunder. The truth, obscured by whispers and shadows, emerged from the digital abyss, leading investigators to a chilling revelation in a dimly lit basement. There, in the company of a woman named Elaine, they found Samuel alive but unknowingly caught in a web of deceit spun by a ghost from Daniel's past. Elaine, haunted by loss and driven by a twisted sense of justice, had orchestrated the abduction, guided by a vendetta that transcended time and reason. In the courtroom, as the evidence unfolded like a dark tapestry of betrayal, the truth resonated in the hushed tones of the enhanced audio from that fateful night. Daniel's cough, a damning echo of his presence in the shadows, sealed their fate as justice meted out its final verdict. Rebecca, scarred but resilient, embarked on a journey to rebuild her shattered world, carrying with her the remnants of a nightmarish past locked away in a box. Samuel, spared the memory of his abduction, grew up in the light of a new dawn, shielded from the shadows that once threatened to consume their lives. And so the baby monitor, a silent sentinel in the nursery, bore witness to a tale of betrayal and redemption, a reminder that truth, however obscured, will always find its voice in the darkness.